Hello, and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup podcast, episode 176. I'm your host, Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
Good. Tired. A little later in the Sunday than we usually record. It's my fault. I was out running, doing things. But we did draft Final Fantasy, which is super exciting. So we're going to talk about that. And we played the starter decks. Yep. I played more on Arena. I didn't draft on Arena yet. Haven't had the window of time. Going to talk about some shenanigans on TCG Player with Final Fantasy and some cards and
coming out. New reveals. It's already time for the next set to hype.
We're already here.
You're like, where is it? It was literally the next week.
Yep. And new draft format, which seems super cool. Pick 2 drafting will be coming to Arena, and the way it works is normal draft rules, but 2 changes. 1, you pick 2 cards with every draft selection, and then 2, 4 players per pod.
Sounds interesting. Curious how that works in Arena, and if it works. If it does open up room for Commander eventually, right? A 4-player version.
Pod, yeah. Maybe it's an early test.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But I mean, it's just your draft pod. It's not you're playing against 4 people.
But are you not ending up against them in the end, or is it just going to be like
it's random
draft?
Yeah, it'll be like
It made it sound so much more interesting, like it was something big. It's like basically the same thing they already have.
Just faster. But I meant like in person, it would be fun to do.
Oh, I see.
And like, it's all about not on Arena.
Isn't
that
Arena. The Arena thing? Yeah, I was going to say, it's the Arena thing, right? That was the announcement. Okay, you're confusing me, Tom. You're confusing me.
But I would like to do it in paper. It would be fun.
I see. Yes, that would be fun.
Just because drafting in paper is fun. Which we did. But first, we played the starter decks for Final Fantasy, which was super fun. The Cloud red-white equipment aggro that sometimes works.
Yeah, it may work eventually. I mean,
we played a couple. Yeah. And then I played a black-blue removal type of
graveyard thing. You did
graveyard
synergies. Yeah, I was trying to do stuff in the graveyard.
It was fun. I liked them. I think they're worth picking
up. Good intro.
Definitely I've seen them online. Cards. It's really expensive on TCG Player.
What, the starter set? Yeah. Everything Final Fantasy is gonna be much.
It's $35.
Yeah, that's actually not that bad for what I thought it would be.
I paid $11. $11 on Amazon.
Yep.
And it's now $20 on Amazon. Why spend $35? I don't get it.
People want it.
I know.
People want it. It's the Final Fantasy.
You had to specifically go to TCG Player and not just Google it.
Yep.
Yeah. But then we drafted. We did a Winston, which was super fun. You did a red-green landfall deck that you thought wasn't going to work. That worked.
Yeah, it did work. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I forced it, and then I ended up with like a third of the cards you did at the end because I forced it.
Yeah.
Which is really scary. I was like, oh, crap. Like, I really screwed the pooch on this one. And I had to pull 3 cards out of, the artifacts and whatever.
Yeah.
To make enough cards to actually play. So out of the junk draft, the stuff I didn't want, I ended up having to pull a few cards and bringing them over.
You got a couple of wins. You won.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah. It worked out. It was better than I thought. So that does tell you something. If I can force a draft like that in Landfall, then it's probably pretty powerful for someone that's actually competent.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So I did it. I was like, it looks good.
It is good.
Yeah.
I drafted a black, white, red around Treasure Sacrifice, which was kind of cool. It did its thing, kind of.
Yeah, you forgot a major rule though. That would have helped.
I did.
You a lot.
There was one, the black white signpost card, where it's every time a creature. We were first playing it every time a creature is destroyed.
Yeah.
On your side, but it's also artifact, which we weren't
and you
counting.
were creating treasures all
Yeah.
over the place,
Yeah.
so it totally would have been in your advantage. So
Yeah.
you probably would have won if you had remembered the rules to your cards. But that's
true.
draft. That's typical
Oh,
draft.
absolutely.
Like happens all the time. People forget about
In brand new
mechanics.
sets. Yeah.
Like that's how it goes. That's the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
In paper.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm definitely down to draft it again.
Oh yeah, I'd do it again. That was a fun set.
Yeah. Well, we got the box open now, so
Yeah.
we'll draft it. But speaking of the boxes, it hit MSRP.
Yep. You were right.
Yes, I was.
That was your prediction.
I was.
It sure did.
I could see it dropping a little bit in the next coming weeks. I've heard rumors. So we were previously talking on rumors that we wouldn't get more play boxes until like the holiday season. But I heard Wave 2 is hitting in like now.
August or something?
No, like now.
Oh.
So
That's weird.
Yeah, like it went through another wave went through distro of play boxes. Probably to be on the Q2 sheet for Hasbro. And then but so those should be hitting the market once stores get it in the next week or two. So I could see it coming down. However, one thing I noted last time, and I again this time, there usually had been sitting around like 600 in inventory, and then it drops down to 300, and then it goes back up to 600, and then it drops down to 300. We haven't had that major push back up, and we're back at the 300. So yeah. I could see it going up higher, but we'll see. The demand doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. No, it's still selling about 200 a day.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy. It's not. That's the one thing we can count on. The demand is going to stay there for a bit.
Right, but we have 2 days worth of inventory listed.
I understand. I know.
It's pretty crazy.
Gonna get nuts. It's already gotten nuts, honestly.
Yeah, I mean the collector box is $1,200. It's almost Lord of the Rings price.
Yeah. And it's like what, day 5 or whatever it is since release.
It's a week. It's a week from today.
Yeah, it's 1 week today.
Yeah.
No, it's not a week today.
No.
Release on Sunday.
The 13th week from Friday, sorry.
Friday. Yeah.
Or was that pre-release? No.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
13th is the release date.
Yeah. Okay. So it's it's been a week and a few days.
Yeah.
Yep. All of it's gone. This is going to be bigger than Lord of the Rings. I think we kind of knew that. I think we talked about that before, how the pre-order kind of indicated it was going to be. I think you had your doubts, but I pretty much thought it was going to be.
Yeah. I have also, I'm just pulling them up here. On the 17th, oh no, that was best offer accepted. Where was it? I saw number 1 of the Chocobo was pulled.
Oh, cool. How many are there?
77.
Okay. That's cool. How much do you think it will go for? I don't think it's going to beat the One Ring.
Well, it doesn't say how much this sold for because it was best or low or offer was accepted, but it was priced at $50,000.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
The neon inks are selling for over $1,000 though. So if you pull a neon ink, you're gonna get the price of the box back. But I'm not actually seeing the serialized one.
It might not be up there yet. It just came out. That's how it goes. It takes a while for some of the weirder stuff to get listed. You're talking TCG Player, right?
No, eBay.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I didn't even. Yeah, I don't know if that's been. I didn't check on TCG Player. Let's see. Obviously, it's out of stock. No sales data.
Yeah. Not surprising.
No. But we did have Although I'm not seeing where. It was probably on a different auction site, but some of them have sold for like 20 to 40 grand. The serialized ones, which is insane.
Yeah, that's too much. That's crazy.
But I mean, there's
Is it
only
a bubble, Tommy? Is it a bubble?
I don't know. I keep wanting to say it is, but then
It's Final Fantasy, and it keeps defying the odds.
yeah, it's like hold my beer.
True. Yeah, basically, it's essentially
You think
saying,
this is
yeah,
crazy?
you
Hold
think?
my beer.
Yeah. Really? Let me show you something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's insane.
This is Collectors. It's a famous IP.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they hit all the notes. Remember, we were talking about this before. It's like I'm not a huge Final Fantasy person, so I don't know how like good they did with this.
Yeah.
I guess they did it. They did very good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what Spider-Man and Avatar do. I don't think it'll be this crazy, but
no, God, no, I don't think so. This is I don't know. Spider-Man's big IP too, but this is a very big IP.
Yeah. Wonder what's bigger.
Airbender. I don't think it was Airbender, right? Avatar Airbender thing.
Yeah.
I forgot that was even coming out. Is that actually coming out this year?
Yeah, it's the last set of the year.
I thought it got canceled or something. I just forgot about it completely. It's so funny.
I'm trying to think. I'm just asking ChatGPT what the biggest IP is.
It is technically Pokemon.
No, of the three.
Oh, of the three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if it can actually answer that accurately.
No, because it's updated information. But
well, not only that, but it's like IP is a term that's somewhat of a soft informational term, so you have to come up with a criteria for which to put it in or out of IP.
I think it's global revenue is the main thing that they're sourcing, and they put Spider-Man at top with 30 billion, and then Final Fantasy. Right?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Spider-Man existed for like 20 years before Final Fantasy. So that's where it's like, does that work? I don't think that actually. No. That's the problem. It will give you an answer. It just probably won't be an accurate answer or realistic
over
answer.
60. Yeah. And then Final Fantasy started in 87 and is estimated over 20 billion. And then Avatar way below it. The two.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would do that measurement just thinking about it. Like, say, in the last 10 years or something as a fair measurement of how a product would do releasing now so that it's all, you know what I mean? Like, it's that built up audience. I don't know. Other than that, that's a total guess. I have no idea how you would actually model that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see what other IPs are coming down the line for next year.
There will be more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We can promise. The
guarantee
it will absolutely keep happening until everyone is sick of it.
Does the holiday collector box for Final Fantasy happen?
I don't know. What if they did the Lord of the Rings a second wave of the same one?
The collector box, they can't.
Why? The holiday
Serialized.
one? They can. The holiday one again? The holiday one again?
Why?
What serial cards were in it?
The poster cards.
Oh, that's right. It did have the poster cards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they could still do it with different poster cards.
Yeah.
Or not. Sure. No poster cards. Like, it's definitely possible.
I'd be okay with another Lord of the Rings collector box. I got room on my shelf. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just thought it was it's silly, and you're getting those things like empty boxes or 12 packs in under the booster box, or like the Omega pack booster packs, and I don't know. It bugs me when TCG Player doesn't categorize things or allows people to put things that aren't actually it up.
I mean, I don't know how much enforcement they actually do on that stuff because it's rife in Pokemon. It happens all the time. This is the first time I've seen it this crazy in Magic. Like, I've never seen this before. I've seen it a few times here and there, like little splashes of it, but this is literally every product line has a cheap version in the top of the like best price like situation. It's like 12 packs instead of the full box, or one of them was literally selling an empty box.
Yep.
An empty box was for sale in the collector box section or something like that. And then the other was those Omega collector packs, which is a single pack.
Yep.
And they were selling it at, better than the best price, but way too high for what it is.
Yes, it is 1 pack.
Yeah, ridiculous. So if you're using TCG Player, don't click the cheapest thing automatically. Take a look, read carefully before you buy anything.
Yes.
Although they'd probably fix it for you. That is one thing about them. They do, give refunds and stuff pretty straightforward.
They do.
Especially for some shenanigans like that.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. It's nuts. Clearly, the Final Fantasy thing has broken the Magic world.
Yeah.
Snapped it right in half, and no one was ready for it.
No.
I think a lot of people saw it coming, though.
Yeah.
$1,200 collector box, day 10, we'll say.
Yeah.
That was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, no, mine neither.
I think we both said, 1,000 makes sense, like
by the end of the year.
Yeah. We were like, oh, yeah, definitely. Not day 10.
Yeah.
1,200.
Yeah.
Well, Final Fantasy took over. Yep. Has now decimated all things Magic, and it has owned the IP from henceforth. Magic shall be called Magic: The Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
And then I was also really expecting Pokemon to, do something.
Like?
Come back down.
Oh, you thought the money drain would happen? Yeah. No.
It's insane. I don't know. I'm starting to miss the old days. I am. We were in that forever, and I hate it.
Old days.
I miss the old days. Where all the hype. There was no hype.
There was tons of hype. What are you talking about? This channel started on Flesh and Blood hype. Literally where we started.
Yes. No, I'm talking about Pokemon specific.
Also had a lot of hype. What are you talking about? Like,
no, I know dead? It did. No, it was hype when we started the channel, and then it was dead for a couple of years, and then now it's back and booming again. And I missed the dead period.
It wasn't dead for a couple of years. It was like 6 months. It wasn't that long.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like it was that long.
It wasn't that crazy long.
It took a breather.
Yeah.
It might have been a year. I could see it just felt like it was really short because we were focused on other things.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's like suddenly it's like, oh yeah, Pokemon did the thing already.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yep. So, did you look at any of the? I don't even remember what the event was. It was like a big Magic event in, I want to say Chicago. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, it was a Magic Con, wasn't it?
Yeah. Tournament and all that.
Yeah.
So, who won Pioneer? Do you know? Were you watching?
No. Did you?
It was no, I didn't watch the games, but I saw who topped it. It was Is It Prowess?
Hey.
Yeah. And then there was one more in the top like 8. So there's 2 Is It Prowesses in the top 8, but the second one was like down at 7. And then I'm trying to remember what the second one was. It was a new one that I didn't recognize. Like maybe I can't remember what it was. Anyways, there's 2 of those in second and third place, and then one other Yorians. The Yorians were back. The Control, they were lower in the ranking. I can't remember what the second place was, but it was one I didn't recognize. I was like, oh, I don't know that one from the meta, so that must be something new and climbing. But Is It Prowess still came out on top over it. So
good.
That actually sounds like a fairly good meta. I don't know Pioneer well enough to say what it's like typically, but the fact that it's like the reigning champ still reigns, but it has someone coming for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's healthy.
Yeah, it wasn't like all 4 or 8 of the top were the same thing.
Right.
Seemed pretty good.
Good. I think that's how it was in standard.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think a lot of these cards shook everything up. That's what happens when you throw a bunch of power into the into the
Yep.
meta, right?
And it doesn't seem to be stopping. I mean, look at the Edge of Eternity cards.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the other thing from that. They revealed a bunch of cards, some of which are just freaking insane. Some of which are just like good utility cards, like
Yeah.
they'll be used. The one
Charge
that got
counters are
me.
back.
Which one
Charge counters.
was that around before?
That I said they're back in standard. The
Oh, I see.
Sarima. Legendary artifact, spacecraft, 1 and 2 white. When it enters, search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. It's called, and then it has a station ability. Tap another creature you control, put charge counters equal to the power of the spacecraft. Equal to its power on this spacecraft. Station only as a sorcery. It's an artifact creature at 7+ counters. And then so at 7+, it's flying. 5/5. Other tapped legendary creatures you control have indestructible.
So this is basically just piloting a vehicle with more steps.
Yep.
Right? Because it's like you tap the creatures to activate the
But
vehicle.
it's permanently activated.
I
Though.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, but it's still the same thing. And
Yeah.
it charges it up. Yeah, it's just a slightly. I guess it's a little bit better than vehicle.
I think it's
pilots.
better.
Yeah. It's
But
high.
then
7+. That's a lot.
yeah. And then Tezzeret was the one we started with, which is the 3 colorless Planeswalker. Whenever an artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on it. Then it doesn't have any way to gain it besides that. But it's 0 ability, untap target artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. -3, search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Seems good. You get an emblem at -7. You get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature.
Yeah, so that's not a super like crazy like ultimate, so that part's fine. But
Yeah.
the other parts are pretty nuts because it can be artifact tokens too.
Yes.
And we all know how many different artifact token generation decks there are out there. So this thing is just like, oh, you want the -7? Yeah, you can get that turn 1. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just do your treasure deck thing. Yeah, it's fine. It's done. So.
And then Kylo Apogee Mind, blue, red, white, legendary artifact creature, robot artificer, haste. No.
This one is the commander set,
I
believe.
Oh,
so it's only in
okay.
commander. Just keep that in mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. It's a 3/3 haste. When it becomes tap, proliferate.
Yeah, which is just gross with +1 counters on stuff, which is clearly doing, and power counters, which this set is clearly doing, right? Like that's gonna be nuts.
And then
I
there's
also like it in those colors because that's the energy deck.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be crazy.
I might finally make that energy deck.
There's
this guy as the commander.
Tanuk, Memorial and Sign, 1 red green. Landfall, legendary creature, 2/4. Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, draw a card. Double landfall.
Yeah, that's a good one. Having the card draw as well as pinging for that cheap. And in red green, that's you're gonna be able to make that happen a lot.
Yeah.
So that one's pretty bonkers. I don't know how hardcore it is. I'm not very into red green. I typically avoid it. It's like some people avoid Simic. I avoid red green. So I don't know. I don't know those decks very, very well, but it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of landfall stuff in standard, so it's gonna fit right in.
Yeah. And this set had a lot of landfall in it. Like it's one of the main themes for the draft.
Yeah, so that's gonna be continuing forward.
Yep. Yeah, there's some pretty fun stuff coming out. I did see some other ones, nothing super notable that I can recall off the top of my head, but I do remember being like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Basically every announcement, I was like, wow, okay. So Edge of Eternity, while this may be the hype part, you know how they do the powerful cards first, get everyone excited. it's not nothing. It's not a dead set. It's definitely not a no power set. It has got some stuff in it, got some heat in it. We'll see how it plays out. I will say I've seen a bunch of chatter online about people very excited about it. So I do think it has some built-in hype. There's some story in the world about this that may include Eldrazi. So they
Cool.
may be back in this set because apparently that was the lore as they came from the Edge of Eternity, End of Space or something originally. And I think they're teasing it a little bit with was it Tezzeret? Maybe it wasn't this card. Maybe there's another one they showed that had a quote on it talking about how Loot, the guy in the vault,
Yeah.
may be an Eldrazi, like a baby one.
Cool.
Which is kind of goofy. We'll see. We'll see how it all comes together and if people really like it when it comes out. But there's some really interesting cards coming up, and I'm sure the commander sets are going to be fun. From what I've already seen of the commander sets, they look interesting. Like I'm actually intrigued by these. There's an insect druid. There's that guy that's going to make me build my energy deck finally, Kilo.
That'll be a fun deck. I would want to play that deck.
Yeah, like an energy robot deck with this cool sci-fi robot dude. I like it. It fits for me.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be some ships that go with it.
Oh yeah. You're going to be able to do all sorts of fun shenanigans with tokens.
For sure.
So we will see. I'm looking forward to it. I did like the space set. It was not my favorite, but it's my favorite that's still being released.
Fair.
We'll see how it goes out and what I actually end up buying, if anything, out of this. I will tell you, I don't think I'm going to buy any Final Fantasy now that it has gone utterly bonkers. There was a question mark, and I did try to get that collector box thing. Yeah. But when that got canceled, I was just like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I missed this one. And sure am missing this one. When the price is the way they're going, I was like, I sure have no interest now. If it had gone down, I was like, okay, I'll pick up a box. It's not happening. It's not going down. There's no down.
I am glad I grabbed that second case.
Yeah, 0% down. Not seeing that happen. So
no. I mean, I think the play boxes will come down eventually, but
yes, yeah, they will. That second wave or whatever, when people are kind of past the hype mode, and they put out another chunk of them, they'll come down.
Because they will.
How far down do they go? Is it like 150 or does it stay 200 from 250? You know what I mean?
I think it goes down to like 170.
That's still probably too much.
I know.
Won't buy it. That's why I'm like, this is. I think I'm not buying this because it just came out and pumped too much, and unless it crashes. Now, if we do have like an economic downturn or something crazy, and there's a chance to pick it up for cheap, then I might be interested. But otherwise, no, probably not.
Yeah, I think if that happens, I'm going Pokemon.
Well, if there's an economic downturn?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably think about both, honestly.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm not thinking about Pokemon right now.
Yeah. But I'm not really. I don't know if Pokemon's so alien, even still, all this time, all this energy I put into Pokemon price watching and stuff, it still feels alien. So I never feel comfortable putting money into it.
That's
it works out every time, but I never feel comfortable.
Yeah.
One last thing that came out along with these EOC reveals was they have changed the rule, or they're going to change the rule. I don't know exactly when it goes into effect, that a legendary vehicle can now become your commander.
Yep.
So with this set, it now creates, I think it was something like 22 additional commanders. There's 22 legendary vehicles out there. So I don't know if that's good or not. I hate vehicles. So for me, it's a big like I don't care. I never liked vehicles. It's funny. So one of the people we pod with regularly was basically heard me say that, and he's like, shut your damn mouth. He was so offended. And I'm like, I mean, there's ways to make them work. They're fine. It's just I don't like, it feels like extra effort to get the same effect. Why would I bother? And I just never been interested. And he came the next time, he brewed a deck for vehicles, and it did well. And then I did beat it once, so it wasn't like crazy and all be all well. But it was good enough. Like, it wasn't bad. It was definitely fairly strong. And he did beat us one time with it. I think he played it all day because he wanted to get it tuned. So yeah, you can make a good vehicle deck. I just don't. It's it's playing Magic with extra steps. And it's like, if I want my creatures to attack.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, they're good if you can cheat the value out of them. I was like, yeah, exactly. And I have a ton. Well, not a ton. I have a handful in my oh god, what's my Mishra deck, right? Which is all artifact stuff happens and he kind of force activates them. So it's cheating them. I don't have to get them pilots, right? They just become because that's what he does. So yeah. So anyways, point being, yeah, vehicle commanders, if you're into vehicles, you're excited. If you're not into vehicles, you might find a vehicle you're excited about. There are some pretty interesting ones out there. And with 22 new commanders, that does change things for that format. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I'm sure that will be, you'll see some crazy builds after this set with all the vehicle shenanigans. It looks like it's thrown in there. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Is there, how many commander decks are there for this? Do we know that?
Just a 4, I think.
4. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 4. I'm not 100% sure actually. But I saw 2 that were specifically commanders. The one that I was in there, the energy proliferation guy, I'm pretty sure he's a face commander, although I'm not sure they said that for sure in the thing. And then the insect druid, Cesarel Genesis Shepherd, 2 black, red, green, flying. You may play lands from your graveyard whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn. Put a +1/+1 counter equal to Cesarel's power on up to 1 other target creature. So graveyard shenanigans. Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
So. Yep, I believe those are both face commanders, but like I said, I don't think they specifically announced them as such. They just showed the cards, because it's the early hype stage. So we'll see. We'll see how many there actually are. But I would assume 4. It's space. There's so much room, to do things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, the hype is definitely starting, which is surprising. But not surprising because they started showing off the cards. But I mean, the collector box jumped from 280 to 330 on TCG Player, and the play boxes are already at 120.
I don't like it, Tommy. I don't like it.
30 packs for 120, John.
I don't like where things have gone. We're in this.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was just saying. I want to go back.
Well, for me, I don't like it because it feels too much bubbly. I mean, It's just, I know we've been saying it for a while, but it just is not an okay place to be. Yes, you should be selling into this. Yes, you should be, playing the game. But man, I just doesn't feel comfortable when everyone's this greedy. I just want to sit it out.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm ordering. I do have my order for a Playbox case because I need a case of everything. But I think that might be all I do for Edge of Eternities. I don't know if I'm doing any collectors.
Wow. Haven't you been doing collectors for everything?
Yeah, I skipped Final Fantasy. I tried.
Oh, you tried, yeah.
But
not by choice.
No. And I thought about it, but I saw them at 250 and there's no serialized. Not that matters, but I don't know. It could be a hat set. It could sit around 200. That's what the other ones are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that $300 stick. It'll be back under 200 because we got a ways to go before it goes, and we're still in the pre-order.
It's standard, right? Like
it's standard.
Yeah. There's no reason to expect this one to be like Final Fantasy level.
No.
And I think a lot of this price action is based on Final Fantasy's success. It's like, yeah, but that was Final Fantasy, people.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm excited about Edge of Eternity. It is not Final Fantasy.
No.
I have zero expectations of it being anything like Final Fantasy.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, do we go on to the economics?
Or I'm ready.
You'd like to talk about?
I'm ready.
All right. There's some bad news, and then the weekend happened, and worse news happened.
Hey.
We don't really have economics for yet, but I'm sure we'll start seeing some of it Monday. So retail numbers for May came out, and they were down 0.9% retail sales. So that's like, common stuff people buy, shoes, shirts, whatever, right? which is an unusual number at this time of year. It was pretty bad as far as the retail sentiment situation. It's not like end of the world. I think the headlines were all like, "Oh, it's the worst ever," but when you look into the actual data, it was basically flat from last year, down slightly from last year. But the point is, it's down from the month before. So we had some retail momentum. People were buying stuff. They were feeling comfortable spending their money. It got pulled back. Obviously, tariffs are the big thing. Uncertainty about the economy, and then obviously now war and oil issues are going to have an impact as well. But none of that's hit any headlines or numbers yet, so we can't count that as part of this. So it's just the uncertainty around tariffs and jobs and everything else going on in the U.S. right now that caused people to say, maybe I don't buy that extra pair of shoes, right? Go out there and buy the was it GameStop? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Disc or whatever. Like, I'm trying to think of retailers that people on our channel might go to. I don't know. Those are the ones that came to mind immediately.
Yeah.
I guess that
Best Buy.
it probably applies to game stores. I'm not sure how they calculate the retail sales. It would probably apply to game stores too, like card sales.
I'd assume so.
Yeah, that's probably in that number. I'm not sure exactly how they slice and dice it, but yeah, it's probably in that number. So yeah.
Well, just wait till June numbers come out, because the Switch and Final Fantasy are going to skew those.
Well, I don't know if that would skew retail, because I bet most of that's online sales.
Oh, true. Fair.
Yeah, this is brick and mortar stores, which again,
a lot of Switches were sold via brick and mortar.
And that's like, what's in here for sure, like Walmart's and stuff like that. Like, they're definitely in here. So any sales around that will also play into this for sure. So yeah, anyways, point being, those are that's a bad number to have at this time of year. There's tends to be a bit of a lull anyways. And so this number isn't great to have this on top of it, because it's lower than expected and lower, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that tends to lead to job, losses and things like that. A retail store can't sell as much. They some people, et cetera, et cetera. We haven't seen that show up in the jobs data yet. So, until we see it, it's not really worth, assuming that will be the case. But
right.
But it's just another one of those like, this ain't great sort of signs. So the next one does have a little bit of the, I guess, war stuff in line with it. It's U.S. Treasuries have basically, I don't know if they've lost safe haven status, but they definitely aren't doing the things they used to. So typically when there's a war would break out in the Middle East, for example, and this is referring to the June 13th attack by Israel on Iran, they would be a bond surge, right? People would buy U.S. securities saying, this is the place to be when the world is uncertain. You want to be safe with U.S. bonds. That didn't happen. The opposite happened instead. People fled from it, which is not normal in like 40 plus years of economic information and data, and maybe even longer. I honestly don't know how long that's been the thing. I know it's been the thing basically my entire life. So that is very unusual and is not a great sign for the U.S. dominance globally economically, because that is one of the key factors that lets America basically borrow, all the time, have debts that they are so big, that sort of thing. It's because people are willing to buy those bonds in uncertain times. It's even more important for that, because if we want to have an action like, go to war or whatever, right, we need money to pay for the stuff. Guess how we pay for that? Those are the bonds. Well, guess what? If people run from our bonds when war starts, we're going to have a hard time paying for it, right? So unlike the past several, military things that we've done, over the last few decades, this one seems to be unsupported by the globe. No one wants to, offer us the credit card to do the war. So that is a particular problem and could have larger implications for the security of U.S.'s global economic dominance. And I know China has come out and said some things specifically like, world can move on without the U.S. British Empire thought it would last forever, and so did this group and so did that group. But, now here we are. They're all, minor players. And I think China is basically saying we as a globe can do the same thing to the U.S. And that bond switch is definitely a sign of that. So not done yet, obviously, not over yet. We haven't had our Liz Truss moment. We haven't had a sale of bonds that failed to go through. It's just they're not selling at what they should. The pricing has come down basically because the demand isn't there. So not great. great rotation. Funds flow between different economic blocks. This happens a lot. I think we've talked about this in the past, but I'm not sure I called it the great rotation or anything like that. But the flow of funds between the U.S., Europe, China, etc. You can kind of watch global fund flows and get a sense of what's developing, what's basically being conservative, and then what's looking for the next answer, the next thing, the next innovation, that sort of deal. And what's happening is a weakening dollar is showing these funds are flowing out of the U.S. Essentially, where historically we'd be invested in for safety, we'd be invested in for innovation, we'd be invested in for various things. Because of the unreliability of our trade partnerships, et cetera, all the other things that I've complained about for the past few months and the behavior of this administration, it's starting to lose its appeal to the broader globe. So where historically organizations, companies, individuals even would invest in U.S. assets, because it was a safe and a good growing place where you'll get your return, because we have a very strict kind of legal structure around our financial markets. It's safe there. You can put your money in and it'll come out with interest. That's kind of how it works and why people trust us.
Yeah.
That is less interesting these days, I guess. People are looking for other markets to invest in that are not the U.S. So when you look at the financial flows, it is not great. It shows one more example of U.S. assets being put to the sideline, and then a weakening dollar being part of that equation. So ultimately, that leads to better trade situation for us. Ultimately, if the dollar weakens enough, but it does create a bunch of headaches for us, such as our debt and those issues that we were just talking about. So bunch of different big macro things. These are all slow scale things, except for the retail aspect, which would be seasonal. You can expect, maybe layoffs over summer, which is not the best time for retail to lay off, because that's when people go shopping and all that stuff.
Yes.
So it's just one of those things that shows there's some weakness in the economy. But yeah, general trends don't look great. These are bigger trends, though. These things take decades, I would say, on the order for those two last ones to actually play out fully. But the Liz Truss moment is called that because it was literally the moment the world said no to the British economy. And at some point, we will have that moment where there's a no. And when that happens, it will have massive implications to the rest of the economy very quickly. Add on that, over the last 2 days, we joined the attack from Israel on Iran, and that has caused massive uncertainty in the globe. And this one's probably pretty important. As of this morning, I believe Iran said that they are going to close the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I've only ever read it. I don't think I've ever heard it said. It is the strait where 20% of global oil passes through. Everyone's known about this for decades. Everyone has basically tried to keep Iran from becoming hostile, specifically because of this ability for them to control it with nothing but simple artillery. They just put artillery along these cliffs, shores, whatever. I don't actually know. I've never been there. And they can hit the other side. That means they can hit any ship that goes through there. And since 20% of the world's oil goes through there, that's 1/5 of the energy that powers our global economy, because oil is the core foundational resource that goes into every product, because we ship stuff using oil. So because that is 1/5 of the foundation of every product on the planet, when it's 20%, it's a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
I don't know what the global GDP is, but I do know it's in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. So 1/5 of that just got put under a gun because we decided to attack Iran, even though for 40 years, both GOP and Democrat alike have said, let's not fight Iran.
Let's
that
not
would
do
be
that.
terrible for us in our economy and our global trade network. Everyone has agreed on both sides, both Bushes, Reagan even. Actually, I don't know if Reagan weighed in on Iran specifically because that was a little early, but both Bushes specifically. And then, of course, Obama's and all the trade, the deals they tried to work, the nuclear deals, if you recall, that was all about that. That was all about trying to not create a war situation with Iran because of this specific choke point that everyone in the world knows about. I think, as an example, and this, I don't know how close this will hit, but it brings it back to cards a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, and I think this is correct, Japan's entire energy source, 90% of it goes through there. So this is where it's going to have these disproportional impacts. So you're going to see like Japanese economy freeze up all over it, right? I don't know how fast it happens because I'm not sure how long it takes the ships of oil to get there, how much storage, like strategic reserve, like all those details matter, right? So it may not end up having this impact, but this is the sort of thing where it's like Japan is freaking out right now because 90% of their energy goes through that. And they now need to make a deal somewhere else to get energy to keep their country working so that they can produce, cards, right? Video games, like the stuff that they make, they need it. And they need to be able to ship it around the world and to the users that, want it, the retail people that want to buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those things where it's like, it's going to have disproportionate effects for different people. I think America actually will be less harmed by this directly because we have a lot of our own oil production here in the United States, that oil energy independence that was talked about specifically by the GOP decades ago. That is something that has been put into place and is pretty strong. It will have a knock-on effect on oil prices. So that will, because the markets will be unstable. So that will cause gas prices to go up basically for Americans. So it will have an impact. It's just, it won't impact our strategic energy structure because we do have a strategic reserve and we're specifically buffered against this. And I think we've long since done this because Iran's always been kind of we don't really like them, situation, right? So we've set ourselves up to handle it. And I think other places like maybe Japan didn't think it would ever happen. Oops. So it did. It did. And now we're in that situation. So the next trigger on this is the thing. So it was big, loud talk. We have seen Iran come back from the edge before, like when they bombed that general a couple of years ago. They like stepped back from the edge. They didn't go full, anger mode. They do sound like they're going full anger mode now, but they could step back. They are diplomatically reasonable in most cases. I just don't know that the other side is able to meet that, tone.
Sure.
If they do step back, then none of this ends up mattering. If they don't and ships push through, because eventually they're going to be like, well, shit, it's worth it, right? The money is worth it. Yeah. Let's take a shot. And they'll go through. And if Iran pulls the trigger and sinks a ship, that's the next big trigger, because that would be like, oh crap, they're serious,
Yeah.
And that will have a big ripple effect. This will too. Like, I expect Monday to be a market crazy show because of this threat alone, and then it'll calm down, and then the next question is, are they actually going to shoot any ships? So, and this is assuming no diplomatic reversal and calming of the situation, but let's hope there is some calming, because 1/5 of the global energy supply. You can't knock 1/5 of anything out in the global economics and not feel it all over the place. It's huge. And the oil's the biggest. That's why it's the thing we've gone to war over so much,
Oh, shit. So, here we go again.
Yeah, right? It's crazy. It's madness. So I'm sure next week we'll have way more fun headlines.
Yeah.
We'll see what the initial impacts on all this are, next week. And I guess maybe next week's economic thing will just be a pure special on how the Gulf of Hormuz, which I'll look up how to pronounce, impacts the global economy, and we could talk about it more.
That'd be fun. I'd be interested.
Yeah, let's just see if it. Like
we'll see what happens.
We could walk back from the precipice, which I hope. I really do. The globe hates this. Like, literally everyone hates this. There's no one that's like, this is great. No one on the planet. I don't think. Maybe. Yeah, I can't even think. I can't think of a country that actually benefits from this. Russia, maybe, because oil prices go up and they can still sell it for higher. I don't know. I'm not even sure they like it though. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun.
That's your economic section.
Yay. Cool.
I want it to be nice. I want to have good news, guys. I really do. I look hard. It's hard to find anything good to talk about.
No. But that's why we talk about cards.
Yep. They make us happy.
They do good things. But cool. Anything else before we call this a podcast?
Nope, that's all I got.
Cool. Well, if the world is still spinning next week, we'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one.